Okay. Now I'm nervous. Hi. Well, so I was asked to do this lecture on getting people to relax when you're photographing them. And I want you to know that my point of view a lot of the time is commercial portraiture, family portraiture, and I'm also a cell phone shooter. So I will bounce back and forth, and I think you will know when I'm talking about something, what goes for cell phone and what goes for more of a commercial or just a family oriented shoot. Okay, so that being said, let's share screen. Oh, we have a chat already.
Devin, just a reminder to share screen.
Oh. Okay. I gotta get rid of that. This is going to be kind of an informal, I'm just going to be talking about images and methods that I use on these images. It was hard for me to categorize them. I've got two categories, but I'm just going to start by one of the first things I am already is enthusiastic. I'm enthusiastic about people. I love their stories, and I'm enthusiastic about my photography. So I think everybody here is the same. I think all of you have your own level of enthusiasm, and that's the first thing right out the door that you should consider, that your outlook and your enthusiasm for the shoot is going to be infectious to the people that you're shooting. If you do have problems like getting to a shoot or something, don't walk in the door saying, oh my God, the traffic was just hideous and I couldn't get here on time. You just come in and say, I'm just so happy to be here. I'm happy to be shooting. Even if people you're shooting on the street, you can say, I'm really enthusiastic about a club that I belong to or group I belong to, and we're shooting people. Do you mind if I shoot some frames of you and see where they go from there? Know your audience, know your client, know who you're shooting. In that, I mean, am I going to be able to shoot a lot, or am I going to shoot just a little? Sometimes you have to shoot a lot to get a good portrait. The man up here in the corner, see if I can get it. I got him on one shot. He had no time for me. He's a busy, works as a journalist for the LA Times. I went to his home. He hates pictures. He hates, the whole thing of posing. And this is for a book jacket that he wrote a book and wanted for the jacket. I know his wife personally, and she already warned me he can be just, have no patience at all. So I knew what I wanted. I didn't have him come into the room until I was ready to shoot. I styled up the books. I took down some trash, not trash, but stuff that didn't look good. I threw some for color, kind of stacked it up, had her stand in the place, shot her a couple times. I liked the light. And then I had him come in and we did that. And that look is like, okay, how long is this going to take? I shot it. I turned the camera around and I go, do you like it? And he goes, I love it. I go, you're done. And he laughed. He said, thank you so much, and walked out. So I knew my audience. I knew going in, some people just don't want their picture taken. Let's see if I can get back to I didn't mean to close that out. Some people, you can have a long time to shoot and you need that time. This kid in college, he needed something for a dating site, and he needed something to, he was applying for a specialty in mathematics. And so he wanted to show himself being smart, but approachable. And I had a long time to work with him. He was very stiff. And you can see, like, okay, there's one, there's a keeper, you don't have to have the hand in the pocket. I probably would just crop that up to an 8 by 10, but he's looking more relaxed. And this is where I shot a lot. And this is just what I kept out of the shoot. I probably ditched. I think this was one of the ones we went with. He looks smart because he's holding a book. And he's saying, why does that make me look smart? He was really on genius level. It was pretty funny shooting him. So you'll know when you go in, do I have a lot of time with this person or do I not? Be prepared with your gear. Have whatever lens you think you're going to use already on your camera when you meet up with someone. They don't want to watch you changing lenses. That starts creating anxiety for them watching gear come out. If I had them in the studio, I had my lighting set and they could just step into it. And she got a cell phone call and we were all laughing about her, the Madonna sitting there so beautifully wrapped up, and then she's on the cell phone. And that was actually the picture that we liked the most out of that shoot. If you're going to shoot location, get your location picked out and tested. You know, it's like shoot some other kid there or pretend the stump is the kid and see what the lighting is like and take note of what time it is to see if that's the right time of day for that particular park. This is something I was going to talk about too. This was a commissioned portrait, and I come in with the red truck. Like, what color sweater is he wearing? And I found that cutest little metal red truck. And we got a whole bunch of really great pictures of him looking natural. You can do that for any age kid, even teenagers, if you're cool about what you get. I have this is my stand-in for portraits. This is Claudette. I actually have a nice collection of pictures of Claudette helping me get ready for a shoot. Had to go to a park. The woman didn't have a lot of time, and I stick Claudette in there and I can shoot because she's a little shorter than I am, but I get a good feeling of what the light quality is like. I could tell by this, I had some dappled light happening on her hat, and I had to really watch that when I came to shoot the portrait. Now let me get to the portrait. So there comes my subject. And yes, I do have light spilling on her face a little bit. She didn't care. She's a nature gal, and she was fine. She was good with that. And I think the flowers are nice. But thank you, Claudette, for helping me out with that. If you're inside, music helps a lot. I used music. Do I have it? I don't have music playing in any of these, but I would try to choose music that I think is going to be appropriate for that particular group or that person. I use uplifting music if they're younger. It's maybe like Talking Heads. One of my favorite songs is This Must Be the Place, and it's just uplifting and happy. You don't want to have Wagner playing and make everybody sad. I want to go back and make a point. When my son was in preschool, they gave the kids toys to play with when they were taking little snaps of them for the day. And my son came back with a toilet brush as the prop. And I will never forget how, and they kept saying, it's clean, it was brand new. The kids think they're fun. They're like wands and they're kind of spongy edges. And like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. That does not cut it with me. Never give a kid a toilet brush to play with, even if it's brand new. So you get appropriate toys. If you're having a problem getting someone to relax, this lady here, I had a hard time getting her to just be in the moment. And she sewed things for everyone that she knew. And I really wanted it with the sewing machine. And so we were talking, and her son lived down in South County, and she was missing him a lot. And so I mentioned his name, and then I started getting her looking much happier. Her eyes lit up. And then I took this of her another day, and this is really one of my favorite portraits. It has a problem to it in that the tie comes up around her face and it looks like a bandage or something, but it's the tie that goes on the back. And I've tried taking it out. No, it just doesn't work. But I've seen her clean that countertop so many times. And I gave a print of this to her son and he cried. He just said, that's just her. She's always talking and cleaning you can tell the drain board is just like buffed shiny. I mean, she was always cleaning it. And I like that little glare coming off the faucet. I just thought that was pretty magical. I love that. And the last point I have written down before I'm going to open up these pictures that I haven't talked about is let people be who they are. Quit trying to force them into a pose and then think you're going to get a light behind their eyes. You get them to be who they are first. I thought this was just too cute. A little matchy poo for my taste, but that's what they wanted. They wanted the shirts and the shorts and but it did really make a cute portrait. It was really sweet. I caught this one at a job I was shooting. It was a bar mitzvah, and this mom was just doing this with the girls. I didn't style them, and the girls weren't quite as crazy, but I came around with my camera and I go, please let me keep shooting. And they just started hamming it up, and I sold a nice 11 by 14 of that one. It's on their staircase. This gal was also extremely hard to shoot. She was really self-conscious. She's had a very thick under her chin and a thick neck, and she's so self-conscious of it. And we were just sitting there getting ready for the shoot, and that's my dog, who adored her, came up and started licking her, and that's her dog, the one she's holding. And she loves this picture because she says, oh, Cookie's hiding my worst part. This was a cell phone shot. I participated with therapy dogs going into courthouses and schools and colleges that were under stress from doing finals. And this was at my alma mater. I got to take a greyhound in as a therapy dog, and I was a handler for the dog. And this gal shows up with that hat on. Kid you not. None of this was staged. And she just lit up when she saw she said, my spirit animal. And here they both have their mouths open. And I thought it was just super duper. I've shown this one to you before. I've got a couple of pictures of her. She used to handle the Clydesdales up in at the Rancho. We've been to that Rancho Los Alamitos above Cal State Long Beach. I think that's, I get the Rancho names kind of confused sometimes.
Yeah, that's the right one.
Great, thank you. She's a petite little gal, and she used to ride the race horses at all the different courses to exercise them. She was not a jockey, but she was tiny like a jockey. Let's see, I was gonna, if I could, I've got more of her coming up. This one, I'm sure you've seen, I used this in the first show. I didn't tell them to hold back. I mean, they were just cracking up. It's not the portrait I was envisioning. What I was envisioning was much more boring than what they were doing. They hadn't seen their brother in years, and I got them over, and this was the day he arrived. So they were just giddy. They were just so sweet. But again, I knew this is at the back patio or back porch of my house. And I put in a piece of plexiglass that light can come through, but it's not hard light, and had a little bench there. And it was just great for getting good lighting. Just a quickie at a wedding. That kid is all grown up now. I saw him just the other night. He's 13 years old, but I just thought that was so cute. That was just cute. But I was shooting, I was a second shooter at this wedding. But again, I had my gear ready. Everything was ready, turn around, and he was just being just a cutie pie. This is Paul Martini, who registers as Joyce Martini. Here, I'll show you Joyce. That's his wife. And I've known him all my life, and our moms were best friends, and it was just serendipity that we both became photographers. He was living right outside Joshua Tree when I took these, and now he lives in Moab, Utah, and you see him post all the time. He's just both of them are just wonderful, wonderful people. Okay, we've done those. Here's another portrait of the two sisters. This was a few years later. I went to go visit them in El Paso, Texas, and they were living together in a little apartment, and they were just being sassy. But I found a doorway that was behind me when I'd opened up their front door, and I kept thinking, oh, that would be nice light. So I had them I said, just come stand up here. Just come stand up here for a minute. I just want to see what the light is. And then they started, looking at each other, and I got that. Okay, getting people to relax, get someone they love in the picture, or talk about someone they love. But I just think both of them, like, they don't even know I'm there. And he was just so excited to learn about avocados. That was just a big deal for that little boy. He was so cute. Here's the same family with a different baby on their lap. Again, like, just such a beautiful picture of grandma. I mean, she's just so filled with joy. I'm going to open up this file. So people will relax with their pets. It doesn't, even if it's near a fish tank, I mean, you can get people to relax better when you've got something they love right next to you or next to them. She's another one who really is camera shy. And I go, well, let's bring Jake in, let's take a picture of Jake. And I built up this whole platform. So she's sitting a little lower and he's up higher to get their heads on the same plane. I mean, they're just having a conversation. And he was done. He rolled over, and that just cracked her up. And then that was what she hired me to do, is take a portrait of Jake. But Jake really wasn't keen on me being that close to him with the camera. So she's holding him for him to feel secure. A lot of dogs really don't like cameras. A lot of people don't like cameras. Two sisters with a dog. They've got a backstory I just have to tell. They lived in an apartment, and they had a golden retriever, and the landlord said, well, she was old, the golden retriever, so you can keep her, but when she passes, don't get another dog. And they said, okay. So they kept adopting old golden retrievers after she passed. Went through 3 of them in the same apartment. And the landlord was like, she's gotta be 20. Like, well, So this was their 3rd golden retriever. I thought that was so cute. Again, he's so proud of his horses. You get a whole different look on somebody. If he were just walking down the path without those gorgeous animals, it would be a whole different look on his face. This gal works with the therapy dog group. This is her dog that she takes into reading program in schools. And she's a funny person. She's a teacher. She's very vivacious and just tightens up when a camera comes out. And her husband said, could you just get the dog in there? And I'm like, well, of course, I was trying to get it without the dog first. I was going to get the dog in, but we just shot all of them with the dog. And then she's totally relaxed. We saw that one, saw that one. That's another one of the same woman up at the rancho. Same horse, same rancho, going into the barn. Okay. She's got a sweet 16 party. Mom paid for a makeup artist and wanted me to come take some pictures. And she's gorgeous, gorgeous girl. And just feeling awkward for the camera. I was having a hard time. We brought the dog in. And I started, she's just, that's beautiful. And then the dog sat next to me. And then we got that. She just loosened up. It just made all the difference. And then I pop mom in there for a picture. And who does a puppy? Who can't smile with a puppy? This is at the dog park. It's a very good friend of mine. Cell phone, had my cell phone out and knew that the light that day was just overcast and gorgeous. There was just something about it. And I just love they're talking. I mean, there's just something going on. I don't need to see her face, but her body language and the dog. There's just something going on there. I just shot this on my last vacation. And I was shooting everybody in the boat. I take my camera along on vacations like this, and as a thank you for the hosts that had me stay with her for a week, I give them a whole album of their friends or family or who was ever around. And he was not happy about his picture being taken. I said, well, I'm taking a picture of the dog. And then he was like, oh, okay. And he loved that picture. And I think this might be my last one. And God, it's just a good picture of a kid with a dog. I don't know. He didn't really need relaxing. He looks like he's a little more tense. So that's my dog that we've got. And we went out into the middle of the street. I think he was a little nervous about that. His mom was right there, so it was okay. That is my lecture. Let me just repeat some of the points that I made of come in with enthusiasm. Don't come in quiet and sad saying, okay, let's just do this shoot. When you've got a camera and you're shooting people, let people know that you're happy to shoot their picture. Then that usually you'll get the same response. Shoot a lot, shoot a little. It's up to you. You've got to read the client and you've got to know what they can handle. Get your gear, your location. The more research you do, the more ready you're going to be for that assignment. If you're going to use music, use music that's appropriate and helps you, and not something that they don't want to hear. Don't shoot a teenager listening to classical music. There's some teenagers, there are some that can, but most of them can't. Try to find music that they like. It might be scratching, like nails on a chalkboard for you, but if that makes that person relax, that's worth it. Get toys or props that help put the person at ease. I've done a whole series of pictures of people with hands with cups, and then I back up the camera real fast and get a portrait of the person holding the cup. The cup was grounding for them. They picked a favorite cup and they loved it, and that gave them a relaxed look on their face or a happy look. If you can't have a loved one near you to make them happy, then speak of a loved one or speak of something that makes them happy. If it's costuming, I shot a portrait of a woman in doing costume design. And so we started talking about other plays that we've seen, and that made her happy when I started mentioning seeing Hello, Dolly with Carol Channing. And she had worked on a little bit of that part, and then I started getting some better pictures of her. And let people be who they are. If they're kids and they're rowdy, and let the rowdiness play into your pictures. I could go to another file and I have some pictures of kids. I started working on too many. This girl is special needs, and I just had to shoot a lot of her to get her to that's her genuine smile. That is her. Let me go back. So, I wanted to show you some kids that were just getting out. Okay, here's a good one of a little girl. She's stunning. I mean, you can just stop right there. The blues and she's wearing in her eyes, but she really is not very enthusiastic to be there. You put her brothers next to her and she just melts. I mean, it's a whole different way of getting her to melt. Okay, we talked about those. I missed some from this other file when I was going over. Let's see. I like this one too. I shot this on film and had to scan it. It was for a Christmas card, and the one that's looking at the camera, he really hated having the camera. And his little brother snuck up on him and he could feel his brother behind him and he starts pushing into his brother, which made his eyes calmer. He's got a little bit of a smile because he knows he's like getting ready to push the other kid over. And the other one is just a stinker. He was always the one playing tricks. And so everybody loved that because that was just who they were. Here's something that I shot from having the cups. See if I can. I said I want to take your picture because I'll show you the one with the cups. But these two guys were the most unlikely of friends, and I love having them. One has passed away and the other one has moved, and I'm so glad I've got their portraits done. This was an outtake, but I like the outtake. I know I cut off his head, but it's just funny. I mean, the two of them just made each other laugh. And their favorite cups, I wondered why the heck did they pick those? And didn't quite get that, but is there any? Oh, here's where let them be who they are. Let them laugh and let them just like. They didn't want to sit there in pretty dresses and behave. I mean, they weren't rude or anything, but they were just being who they are. So that's how I'm going to end this, is let people be who they are. That's it. Now I'm going to go to my chat. Let's see. Okay, I can stop sharing.
Should we stop recording at this point, or?
Oh, thank you. Are there any questions? I've got two.
Very nice.
Screen share, spanking. Yeah, okay, I guess it's I have to say it's a little odd giving a lecture without hearing people go, oh, or what? I kind of can gear a lecture hearing responses. So maybe do we have to mute everybody when we're doing it? And photographing her for some time. I shot this one of her about 7 or 8 months ago, and it was for work. And I shot that with my fixed 100, so I like how sharp it is. The lighting, I put 2 even lights. You can see the catch lights in her eyes. And the company she works for put it on the website, and she's a behavioral analysis person that goes in and working with a technician and kids with special needs. And she's watching the technician, and what she said was this made her look like a technician. Can I shoot it again and make her look like the supervisor? So I went in and shot that one. And I think it does look more mature. Her hair has grown out. You know, she saw that picture and she goes, my hair's getting too short, isn't it? And I go, yeah, kind of. So she's got letting it grow out, but she still has to be approachable, but more serious. She just has to look, I thought, a little more senior, you know? I was going to show you where we started with this. So don't think I just start out with these beautiful pictures or beautiful people. It was lighting and working on the lighting a little bit. And she's got too much cross lighting going, and you can see all the wrinkles, and it's just not working. But then I did this, and this one I changed the lighting. It's not side to side. It's much up above, and then she's holding a big reflector underneath to push light underneath her chin. Which
That's a far better one.
Did you
That's-
Photoshop the wrinkles out, or is it just?
yeah. I always Photoshop, I soften things, but it's not nearly as wrinkly looking, because the other was cross light and this is coming down. I take out some wrinkles, but not all.
Mhm.
You know, it's I do a trick I do is I will do in Photoshop, I will lasso her face, her whole face, and then I invert it, and then I put a Gaussian blur of about 3%, and so it doesn't affect her face. And then I do another step, and all I do is collect her eyes in a lasso, and then I do another Gaussian blur, so her face has 3%, but her ear has 6%. And that's how you start getting that old Hollywood look of, you know, of real selective focus. I mean, you can use a lens too. I'm not saying that's the only way. You can do both. You can use a different lens that opens wide up. But I like to have more control about how far back that out of focus goes. This is a few years back. That was a night. That was fun to have the purple flowers behind him. But I know her, I know her kids. We talk about kids, we talk about what they're doing. Thank God our kids are doing well right now. I want to show you to these two. Let's see. Okay, so she's a heavy set woman. And she knows what she knows she is. I don't have to make her look tiny, but I can reduce some of her body mass, and the one on the left is her shoulder for true. I mean, it really went out of the frame. She's big girl. The one on the right, I Photoshopped it and I curved down a shoulder and made it look like her shoulder stopped there.
Hmm.
Tricks of the trade. That's your Wednesday hot tip of the day.
Good tip.
Yeah, good tip.
Can
All
I
right.
say,
You can
I
quit.
make-
You want to quit recording again?
yeah,